What's up, Silas here? Just down in New York. I was just out with some friends' place. I'll leave links in the low bar. We're There was this Infowars.com contest that we did, the video, and I had a video about the making of that video, and we finally had the announcement of it, and we ended up winning I think it was best background or best audience participation. But yeah, it was this fun little occasion that I had with a couple of friends and decided let's go out and record this and made some good friends with that, and now here we are with this contest and having this win. So there's a few other things we're planning on doing with this group of people, and I'm just making this video to kind of talk about a few things, like how if you have some interest in something, if you guys are supporting a certain thing or have some beliefs towards certain things that other people may not share completely, I think it's good to kind of work them out, get out there, try to discuss them, see if other people will reciprocate what you're saying, or at least if they don't, by you putting it out there, other people might be able to actually give you reasons why you shouldn't support that, valid reasons. Don't just fall into the actual just shame aspect of it and people saying you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, because that's going to be out there. There's always going to be doubters out there. There's always going to be people just trying to just get at you and make you feel worse for what you're doing. And think about how many times you might have been that person, or how many times you do it to yourself, or how many times you see somebody else doing something and you think, oh, they shouldn't do that, or maybe it'd be better if they stopped, or just the whole shame culture that you live in. Why is that so effective? Not quite sure. But I think when you get out there and you do things like this, and you get a chance to actually see that the world doesn't end. You know, we had some fears of when we were shooting the video. First of all, we were afraid, like, okay, what's the reaction? Some of the people were worried, were concerned, or we were telling people we're going to do this, and people are concerned, like, this is New York City, you're walking around, people are going to treat you in a negative way for wearing these Make America Great Again hats, singing the lyrics of that song. And yeah, some people did, but all in all, it turned out pretty good. We're out here, we made the video, and yeah. Like even just coming down here, we're talking about how some people were walking around with Make America Great Again hats, and they were being told, like, and they had like strange looks and things like that. Not attacks, but strange looks, that whole shame thing. People looking at you, disapproving of what you're doing, yet you're just out there sporting. You're out there trying to do whatever you want to do. So, why do people do this? I think part of the reason people do this is they actually think that it's a threat to their lifestyle, it's a threat to the way they're doing things. Whether it's just a simple thing of them not being confident enough with something that they're doing personally to go out and do it in public, or it's them thinking what you're doing in public is actually encouraging a negative environment in the country or in their reality tunnel. So, to that end, I don't think it's going to be as scary or as negative or as horrible or as tough to do certain things in the near future as it was in the past. Not just related to things like the Make America Great Again thing with the Trump support or support of other things, just getting out there and finding other people who share your thoughts, who believe that you're not necessarily an evil person for wearing a hat, for supporting a certain candidate, for supporting certain policies. So I think that's a good thing to think of. What was I going to say? I was going to add something to this. Yeah, I mean, like just today there was, you have to realize with some people it's just a lack of exposure to something. With some people it's just a lack of them having seen something in a different light. Most people out there do honestly think that if you support X things, they will treat you badly. People don't treat you badly because they know what you stand for, because they know what you think, and then they come out and do this. If somebody's walking by the street and just see you in a hat, they don't say shame. They don't just feel that shame without them being, I think them being tricked and lied to about what you think, what you believe. You know, someone might say there's a preponderance of evidence towards a certain topic, or there's a preponderance of evidence to show that you're not evil. But that's the evidence you know. That's the life you've led. That's the experiences you have. You have to realize that people you walk by might not have that experience. They may not have seen that. They may be seeing it in a different way. And I think one thing that made me think of that was yesterday I was watching Charlie's Angels, the Charlie's Angels remake. I think it was part 2 or it was part 1 or something. It was with the one that was with Drew Barrymore. who's Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, gorgeous, love Lucy Liu, and Cameron Diaz. Yeah. So I was watching that. I think the movie was from like 2002 or something. It was an old movie. But thinking about that film and thinking, okay, that's a film. It's stuck in time. The same exact runtime, the same exact material I saw at that time, I'm seeing it now. Now, there hasn't been added material to it, but I've seen other things. I'm looking at it in a different light. I'm looking at the product placement. I'm seeing product placement a lot more. I'm like, wow, I did not notice how blatant the product placement was. I'm like, oh my God, is that a Discman? I'm like, it's a fucking Discman. When I first saw it, I might have thought, wow, that's a really cool Discman. I'd want that. Now I'm seeing it and thinking like, holy crap, is that a Discman? Like, remember those? Part of the things is the girl power type thing. I know it's more of a campy type show. Charlie's Angels was based off of that kind of female power thing, but it's done in a spy situation. And they do it more of a campy way. It's not like a gritty, realistic thing. So there's more of a suspension of disbelief that I can accept in that. And I think I like the way they did the movie. I like the way they handled it. But some of the acting, once I've understood more about film, understood more about the techniques, understood more about the social atmosphere that goes behind this, now it's been years since, maybe decades since, and there's been a lot more of the, I don't want to say just girl power, there's been a lot more of this like, rah, 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 women can do everything kind of ideas. And that wasn't necessarily one where they just retooled a story that normally had males in and just substituted those with females, but they actually used a show that was developed around female archetypes as these characters, and it works. And that kind of shows that, look, this has been going on for a long time. Charlie's Angels was an old show, so people saying that women have never been in positions of power, have never been action heroes, have never been these kind of archetypes, so now we need to switch James Bond, we need to switch Doctor Who, or this society is against women and against these things. No, that evidence has always been there. The way you look at things that you may have known, you might assume that this is a preponderance of evidence. There's a preponderance of evidence that Antifa is a terrorist group. You might see that, you might know that, and you're wondering, why isn't anybody else saying this? Why isn't anybody else seeing this? Like just today, I think, Nancy Pelosi came out and she said that they need to actually finally call Antifa, condemn Antifa, and she disavow, I love that term, disavow. So she disavowed it, but I'm kind of thinking like, okay, I don't really care. I don't really put too much behind what she says, because she's also talking about how we need to impeach Trump when there's no evidence yet in that whole thing. I think anything that started without any evidence can continue despite the preponderance of evidence against it. But anyway, so she comes out and says that. But for you, that might not matter to you. You might already realize Antifa is a threat. They should be treated this way. They're violent. They're domestic terrorists. They're a gang, etc., etc. I personally know people that have been attacked by people involved in Antifa. Just the other day, some friends were celebrating a birthday party and they had some leftists come in. These two females came in, threw water on them, and started making out, which I guess apparently that's supposed to trigger them into like some kind of convulsions, because apparently people who are supporters of Trump hate homosexuals or something. So you see, they thought that. They thinking that's what's happening. A lot of people out there aren't living in a situation where they know people that have been attacked by people on the left. But people are seeing things like with that attack in Charlottesville and thinking this is coming from the right. The media hasn't been covering how people on the left have been acting. So the people walking around, the people you meet, they may not have the same access to information that you have. You may think there's a preponderance of evidence for you to believe something, yet other people don't. Like just going back to the Nancy Pelosi thing. To you, you might hear that and be like, I don't really care what Nancy Pelosi says about other things, so I'm not going to care about this. But for some people, hearing Nancy Pelosi say that about Antifa might change how they think about Antifa. They might finally start researching and saying, if she's saying this, why would she say this? Then they go and research and find out, wow, there's actually all this negative things Antifa has been doing. There's all this film, there's these people that have been attacked. They're actually the history of Antifa coming from relations with the Nazi party. Just really horrible things that are coming with what they're doing, these anti-First Amendment people. You see all this, and then they start seeing that, and then they start wondering, how come nobody told me this information? Why did nobody make this known to me? And then they might start questioning other things about Nancy Pelosi. They might compare to Nancy Pelosi saying this about Antifa, and there's all this evidence, yet she's saying this about Trump, then they'll try to look for evidence about that and then find there's no evidence to back what she's saying about that. Then they could question what she's saying. And anyway, tying this back in, Alex Jones contest, Infowars.com. We did this video. We're probably going to do more videos, do more things, talk about other things we're going to be doing together, creating more content, and just think about how the world's going to be in a year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. Think about the different sources of information that are going to be out there, the people who are going to be talking about things in different ways, even like something with these statues being pulled down. The information about these statues was always there, but why does it change to the point where it gets where people finally react and act to things in a different way? So yeah, that's today's video. Like, share, and subscribe. There's going to be a few more videos coming out. I'm working on some new work. Got some trips planned in a bit. But yeah, if you guys are coming here from Infowars.com, welcome. And there's going to be links in the low bar, both to the Infowars contest video that we did and the video where I was behind the scenes kind of thing of the video. And I might actually upload more clips of just walking around and trying to film that. But yeah, till next time, this is Silas. Like, share, and subscribe. Goodbye.